Whoever we are, whatever our age, a sense of well-being is closely linked to living life the way we want it to be. It's easy to take everyday skills for granted, all the more difficult when we lose them.
I wanted to be more independent because I'm not one for lying in bed half the morning.
We all expect to live longer, and I think we all expect to want to be able to live rather than just be sat in the corner.
All I wanted to do was come home, but I knew I couldn't manage.
I felt absolutely awful. I didn't know where to turn.
Because they were wanting to come like at 6 o'clock on the night to put me to bed. Well, that's no good to me.
If I rely on people, I'm not trying to help myself.
Being at home and living as we want to matters. Reablement can help us to stay independent and be who we are.
People who want to stay at home need to be able to do things for themselves. So we've begun reabling people. That's not rehabilitation, it's reablement.
Well, reablement's a strange word. People always ask, well, what does it mean? And it's really about supporting people to either learn the skills that they need for the tasks of everyday living or to relearn them.
Getting back on our feet and keeping going makes us feel good. And that enhances the way we think about ourselves.
The old way, I would have come in, I would have popped these stockings on for Linda. You know, still conversing with her, but I would have just popped them on for her. Whereas now I'm giving Linda the option to help me put them on.
If I try and do it myself, I'm also helping myself and my joints.
It's giving her a right to choose the way she wants to live, as opposed to me choosing the way she's going to live.
Most people want to do things for themselves, and I think what there has been is a growing recognition over the last 5 or 6 years up and down the country that the role of social services is very much about helping people to live as independently as possible.
Whether it's growing older, after time in hospital, or having to cope with disability, we still want to hold on to independence and self-esteem.
It's difficult for younger people to understand, but when you get a certain age, you want to be independent. It'd take a troop of the SAS to get me out of this place. Tough as they are, they wouldn't get me out that door, I tell you.
In North Yorkshire, Reablement is a short-term programme of intensive support delivered by a START team.
Our reablement workers work in what we call START teams, and START very simply stands for Short-Term Assessment and Reablement Team, so S-T-A-R-T.
Depending on how early you
Each programme runs for up to 6 weeks, beginning and ending with an assessment of what's best for everyone involved. START is built around individual needs and focused on helping people to regain lost skills.
Sometimes we get people that come out of hospital that don't barely walk, but over the 6 weeks we can build the confidence up to just start walking and doing that little bit more every day. So by the time the end of 6 weeks comes, they're sort of like they'll get up and they'll walk themselves, won't they? And you know, they build it's nice to see people building the confidence up that way.
As a start worker, we're going to people's homes, but we're promoting them to be independent in their own homes.
Reablement is working with people, standing back, but providing support for everyday tasks. The START worker finds out what's right for you and your family.
The purpose of the START worker is to help the individual that is in trouble to get themselves back to a standard.
Watching him struggling, trying to look after me, made me more depressed.
I literally could do nothing for myself when I came home. I needed my meals getting ready, and they had to undress me to get me into bed.
Now, the START people were always in the room when I was getting dressed, undressed, washed, etc. But they would pass me things, but it was me who had to do, and that was necessary.
And I think that's the essence of it.
One morning I thought, right, I'll have a go at doing it myself, which I did because Sandra was there and I trusted the fact that she would help me if necessary. And I got the top half done, but I couldn't get the bottom half done.
Because it's a service built around the individual, whether you live in a town or a rural area, START can adapt to your situation. And for John, a farmer, regaining independence at home was very important.
I was in hospital 7.5 months, and then they decided that, they gave us a date to be released. I call it released. We're like coming from prison.
The first week when he came out, we were fairly green towards what's going to be required in this to make him have some sort of quality of life.
The first week was quite horrendous, actually, but the START team made us feel that we were doing very well and that things would get better, which they did. They showed us all sorts of movements with John and how to manoeuvre him and how to get him to be in the right position. That just made it easier for us to manoeuvre him when they weren't there.
The START workers, their input has helped us along the way, as you might say. And to see him really well now it's incredible, really.
But Reablement isn't just a service for older people.
The majority of the people that we're working with are older, but we're expanding into other areas, and so working with people with sensory impairments, with mental health problems, with learning disabilities.
At the heart of the process is knowing what's right for each person and monitoring their situation from beginning to end.
We are promoting independence, but also it's an assessment as well of people's needs, whether or not they are going to need aftercare, and it's just assessing and trying to get them into a routine and getting equipment in there, what they need to make their life easier while they're at home.
Close assessment is the key to what works best for the people involved.
It's not just about going in and offering a blanket service, it's about what does that person want to achieve, and then working with them on how best they can be supported to do that.
The point of the assessment is to get them from A to B safely and to motivate and support and enable people to reach their optimum level.
Sometimes telecare equipment or small adaptations to your home may be suggested by the START worker.
I took her through the back and showed her all the facilities, and she made suggestions to me to make it better for Jim. We've had a shower unit put in the back rather than the stairs and things like that. She was very, very helpful.
They got me moving and motivated me. They were wonderful people.
Connecting people back to their community takes many forms.
We've had a lot of success in supporting people who aren't able to go out and do their own shopping, for example, to link with shops that will deliver. So it's about finding other ways of doing the tasks that we all need to do.
Successful outcomes can involve fond farewells to the START team.
Towards the end of the 6 weeks, we were almost beginning, and this sounds terrible because we thought the world of these people, we were almost beginning to say, well, we'll be almost a bit glad when all this ends. We saw these...
What that told me, and it was about the last week, one lady said, "Do you want me to come?" And I said to him, wouldn't it be nice to have breakfast as and when we want it? Or wouldn't it be
later.
Nice for me?
And that wasn't a measure that we weren't getting on with them. It was a measure of how successful they'd been. It was almost, we'd begun to fly again.
50 to 60% of people at the end of a reablement period have achieved their outcomes and don't need any ongoing support. Now that's fabulous.
The evidence tells of better and more effective service, as well as reduced needs and savings for everyone in challenging times.
I don't apologise for the fact that it does save money at a time when council budgets are being cut and when the population is ageing. We've got to find ways of doing things more efficiently and effectively, and reablement is one of the best examples of that.
The link between individual need and the regaining of independence is a big bonus.
My left arm in a sling. When I have a shower on my own, it's difficult drying me back. And this START lady came to me and showed me how to do it. And then she said, if you're struggling, there's another technique you can use. That was to put a towel on the bed and roll on it. And that finished you off. No, the START team encourage you to do things. They're great for that.
For families, anxiety about care can be worrying, and it can be hard to stand back.
When we started talking about START, people were absolutely appalled that we were going to go in and make people do things for themselves. But when we talked about giving them independence, when we talked about having choice and control, and actually less intrusion in their lives, that was the selling point really for people.
You're right there, Irene.
Reablement is a practical solution to a real need. For everyone involved, it's a commitment to helping people to stay at home and having choice over what they do and how they live.
It was absolutely brilliant, but I did do everything I could for myself.
As I am now, I'm perfect.
I like to be independent, but it was nice that they could help me and show me things how to get going.
It's amazing how a little bit of help from outside can change your life around and put you back where you want to be.
If you'd like more information about Reablement, follow these links.